This video we're going to create the texture for the 3D bike that we see on the right here. On the left here it is before the texture is created with the UV map below, and on the right is the finished bike with the UV map below it as well with the finished art. I'm going to begin by extracting the UV map from the 3D model by going to the layer window and double clicking on bike_crate, and I'll save it as a Photoshop file. If I were to turn off the UV map, I can see the basic shapes that will be needed to create the texture. I've laid them all out color-coded so that you can simply select each of these with the magic wand tool, holding the shift key, and I'll start by doing the body. Now, because of the resolution, I'll go to select, modify, and I'll expand it 1 pixel. I'll make sure it's on its own layer. And the reason I've been kind of careful about selecting and coloring the exact shapes of the geometry is because when we create 3D content, particularly for game environments, we have to fake lighting and shading. So I'm going to choose a color, and I'll go ahead and fill that with the paint bucket or Option Delete. I'll turn off the template below, I'll deselect, and if I were to double click or go to FX, I'll choose Inner Glow, and you can see immediately it starts to give it more of a dimension. Now, the color and the use of the layer styles is subjective, but you can quickly see that by adjusting these, you can imply something a little bit more three-dimensional than flat. Next, I'm going to do the tire. I'll add another layer. Now we're going to make the tires. I'll add a new layer, and I'll get my elliptical marquee tool. Holding down the Option Shift, I can drag from center out to get the shape I want. I'll go out a little bit past the actual UV map, and I'll go to my swatches and I'll get a dark gray to begin with. Going back to my layer window, I'll put the FX Inner Glow on. I should have something like this. Now, there are 3 levels to the tire, the white wall, and the rim. So we're just going to duplicate the same layer and change it to the values we need. I'll deselect, and I'll right click and choose Duplicate Layer. I'll lock the transparency. I'll go to my swatches and I'll pick a pale white. And then I'm going to hit Command T, and I'm going to scale it in, holding the Option. I'll drag it into about there. I'll make one more copy, hitting Command J. I'll lock the transparency. Going to my swatches, I'll pick a grayer value. Now I'll hit Command T again, and holding down the Option key, I'll drag to where the rim might be on the inside. So we've got 3 levels here that we're trying to accomplish. I'll turn off my UV map, and if I needed to, I could go in and adjust these inner glows, and the opacity might be a little lower on this one. And to test it, I'm going to copy and paste what I have into the actual UV map for the 3D file itself. I'll go to Select All, Command A, and then Edit, Copy Merged. I'll open up my 3D file. I'll double click on bike_crate, and I'll go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste in Place. I'll turn off the UV map, hitting Command S on the keyboard. I can now go to the actual bike. That's a pretty straightforward way to create the tire. The rest of the content would be handled exactly the same way we handled the basic introduction to the body, texture, and color.